Joining us now with analysis of the Trump fallout and the Hillary speeches leak is Bill Schneider, political analyst and visiting professor at the UCLA Department of Communication Studies. Thanks for being with us.
Sure.
So the first question is, how are these Trump tapes going to play out in tomorrow's debate?
Well, I think it's a town hall debate, and ordinary voters are asking the questions, and they don't want to get into sleaze. While they might ask about whether he'll embarrass the country, whether he feels that he's disqualified, I don't think they will want to go into too much detail.
Well, do you think, though, that the people might be tempted to ask, in that it is so much in the media right now and we're so close to the election, that they feel this may sway undecided voters?
That's the whole point. But I don't think that they will say outrightly at that debate, I feel swayed. Some of them might do that. They might say, this has led me to make up my mind, I can't possibly vote for you. But it's going to take some courage for a voter to do that in front of all those television cameras.
Well, we know Hillary Clinton isn't without some controversy, too. The transcripts that were released by WikiLeaks, too, that she hasn't been too eager to release herself. How is she going to handle that tomorrow during the town hall debate? Do you think people are more likely to ask her about that situation than they are about Trump and his situation?
They may ask her why she said one thing in public, another thing in private. I think what those tapes, what those excerpts reveal is simply that she's a politician and she's calculating. That is why a lot of people don't like her and don't trust her. She's behaving very much like a typical politician, and that's her problem today in the election. Well,
tomorrow's town hall debate style is certainly going to open things up to more possibilities. I don't know how things can get any crazier than they have in this election season, but we have seen in the past, in past town hall debate styles or town hall style debates, that there are some pretty memorable moments that come out of these types of situations.
That's right. Remember the moment? I don't know if you remember, you're very young. But in 1992,
Thank you.
In a town hall debate, the President of the United States was asked a question. He looked at his watch. I think the whole campaign was over at that point.
That was Bush, right?
President George H.W. Bush. A voter asked him a question about how the national debt affected him and Americans personally, and he seemed confused and put off by the question and preferred not to answer it. Bill Clinton took that opportunity to walk straight up to the voter, look her right in the eye. It was a young African-American woman in Richmond, Virginia, and talk about how, as governor of Arkansas, he had seen so much pain and so much suffering. He knew people who had lost their livelihoods, had lost their businesses, and he felt their pain. That became a cliche, but at that point, it worked brilliantly to show that for Bill Clinton, this voter was the only person in the world.
Right, and which he did well during his presidency.
Yes.
And a lot of the politicians try to make people feel that they are the only person in the world when they do address them, which is why this may be so damaging to Hillary Clinton to have the two different personas, correct?
That's right, because she's not used to doing that. She usually gives public speeches, and Donald Trump, his public mood is one of defiance. We'll see if he can bring that off in a public forum like the town hall.
All right, Bill Schneider, thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting night. We will see how the candidates handle all of this in the second presidential debate. It is now less than 24 hours away, and you can see it right here on KCAL 9 tomorrow night at 6. Again,